we're talking Spurs, and it's not great times, is it, for Ange Postecoglou? 1-0 against Rangers. Before that, the complete capitulation against Chelsea, and it is just 1 win in 8 now for Spurs. Look, before we get into it, I do find this quite interesting. Everyone would have heard it, how Ange went on a bit of a rant about Timo Werner. That happened after the Rangers game. This is what Ange Postecoglou had to say about criticising his players a few days before that.
He realises what he said. A lot of what he said was good. Some of what he said wasn't right and shouldn't be done in the public. I also believe that these things, we deal with them, within our own sort of four walls, because there's always issues and that we need to deal with. And the same way I wouldn't publicly criticise a player or anyone else, I don't think we should be doing that.
A bit of context to that. So look, Christian Romero publicly criticised the club's owners' spending, right? I mean, I think he's actually done it before. And then you heard say what he saying that those things need to be sort of kept within the four walls. You heard him right at the end of that saying he wouldn't criticise a player openly. He then went on a bit of a tirade about Timo Werner. It all seems to be going wrong at the moment. And look, we can all find things that people have said and bring it back, but it's happened so quickly, close together. That's the reason I bring it out. That was 3 days ago, and he criticised Timo Werner publicly last night.
Yeah, because it's one win in 8 games. It's 1 win in 8 games. It's so unacceptable. And to come out and talk about Timo Werner like that, I think it's just proof that his patience is wearing thin. I think it's proof that he is now being incredibly hypocritical. He's saying one thing and 2 days later totally reneging on it. I think it proves that he doesn't really know what to do and he's panicking. To basically hang Timo Werner out to dry like that, I don't rate Timo Werner. I thought it was laughable, comical when Tottenham signed him. I warned any Tottenham fan that would dare listen that Timo Werner was one of the worst strikers, genuinely. Addy, if I were to put together the worst Chelsea 11 that I've ever seen, Timo Werner would lead the line alongside Chris Sutton. That would be Chelsea's worst ever 11 front two. And that's how bad Timo Werner is. Ange Postecoglou has signed him twice. And then, when Timo Werner does exactly what Timo Werner does, which is play badly and miss chances. In fact, scrap that. He doesn't miss chances. I'm talking missing sitters. Sitters. When he gets it all wrong, when he plays the ball to feet instead of playing it into space, when he plays it into space instead of playing it into feet, when Timo Werner does exactly what we know Timo Werner does, he hangs him out to dry. There's nothing surprising that Timo Werner is getting it wrong in big occasion.
You know, I look at this 11 that Spurs put out against Rangers, and look, no disrespect to Rangers, but I think Spurs, when Spurs are playing, should be able to beat Rangers. We saw Spurs put a beating on Man City. I look at it, and Andre Gray's there, youngster, but apart from that, it's a good team. Or what looks like a good team on paper. What's gone wrong here? Archie Gray, apologies. I look at Bentancur midfield with Basuma, Maddison, Brennan Johnson. I know you don't like him. Timo Werner, Son through the middle, Udogie. It's a strong team.
It's strong-ish. It's strongish, but as soon as you scratch beneath the surface, it's not that strong, Addy. Timo Werner shouldn't get in the Glasgow Rangers team.
You say this, but last season, in terms of fullbacks, everyone was saying, and look, could be wrong, Udogie, one of the best fullbacks, Pedro Porro, fantastic.
And Udogie's form has dropped off the cliff.
Massively.
There's a very uncomfortable conversation that needs to happen about Heung-Min Son's form. Yeah. Very uncomfortable conversation. So on paper, the team looks great because you say Heung-Min Son and people go, God, that is a ruthless finisher.
Not anymore.
But he isn't.
It's not great, is it?
Yeah, Destiny Udogie's form has dropped off a cliff. And ultimately, we have to talk about Postecoglou. I've been saying that Postecoglou is a distinctly average manager. I didn't understand why he was given such an ezy ride by the press. I didn't understand why he was being pushed.
Because he started well.
No.
He started well. But you were saying this. He started well. You know he did.
He didn't.
He did. Spurs started
well. They started well in a
well.
purple patch that was the first 10 games of the season. Yeah. They were unbeaten. They then got absolutely trounced by us, absolutely battered by us. When Postecoglou's tactics should have been a red flag to anyone watching that game, they were defending on the halfway line, allowing us to run in with 9 men on the pitch. It was so comically foolish that people should have really started asking questions about Ange Postecoglou then. But we were hearing that he was a nice guy, and because he called everyone mate, it's all right, mate. Everybody was saying that it's absolutely fine and he's going to get it right. They then went on a terrible run through November. This is last year. So yeah, they had a purple patch for the first 10 games of the season. Since then, Ange Postecoglou's got it completely wrong. And people don't want to talk about it because for some reason, I don't understand why, there is a generosity extended to him in seats like this.
I think that generosity is gone. I think people are looking
have
at
no choice.
Yeah, they're 11th in the league.
You finally have to accept that the point that I was making a year ago when I said that I'm not sure this bloke is right, I think that his stubbornness is a real problem. I think that his own commitment to his own tactics, even when his own tactics aren't working, should be seen as being foolish, and yet we're heaping praise on them. You know, when they were playing this expansive game with a woeful defence, people were going, God, isn't it good? Isn't it refreshing? Isn't it nice? And that's what I'm saying. People were being really nice about idiotic tactics. And now, finally, the chickens have come home to roost. And he hasn't conducted himself well at all. He's guaranteed Tottenham silverware this season, by the way, Eddie.
Yeah, well, the League Cup, Europa League,
he's guaranteed. It's important
League
to just...
Cup, Europa League, you never know.
Tottenham haven't won a trophy since 2008.
Yeah.
They have won 2 League Cups since 1991. And Ange Postecoglou, who, let's face it, has no genuine track record, Ange Postecoglou said this season they will win silverware. When it was put to him by a journalist, when he was being very frosty and rude, it was put to him that...
frosty and rude.
He was being incredibly frosty. He's been very frosty to journalists. And when Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho would do that, for example, people would hold them to account. When Ange Postecoglou does it, it's seen as being charming or funny, and I don't understand it. He's rude.
What about the injuries this season? And don't say what... I mean, Romero and Van de Ven being out. Any club...
Do you really want to do this?
Any club lose their 2 best centre-backs, there's going to be a problem. Yeah. Any club.
I think that's true. I think that's true for anyone. And again, loads of other clubs have injuries, and loads of other clubs deal with their injuries, and loads of other clubs would go to a team with the quality of Glasgow Rangers and win 3-0 with or without injuries. Let's remember that Ange Postecoglou said silverware is coming for Tottenham this season.
Which it still could. It still could. A quarter-final of the League Cup, it still could come.
Do you not think it's incredibly arrogant to guarantee silverware when your track record of guaranteeing silverware has been at places such as the Yokohama Marinos or the Whittlesea Zebras?
And
who do you think you are?
Up north?
Who do you think you are? What, winning silverware in Scotland? I don't mean that with any disrespect, but winning silverware in Scotland when you're Celtic manager, to win silverware in Scotland when you are Celtic manager,
you should win.
Of course,
you should win.
Of course.
I'm actually scared to hear what you're going to say on this one. Ange Postecoglou, it's a simple question: is in or out?
He's definitely out. He's a kind of mediocre manager. He's not elite. I was just telling your researcher that we, as Spurs fans, and I've echoed it on similar podcast channels, that why was Timo Werner signed in the first place? Fair enough, once he was signed on loan, then he got extended. That was a catastrophic mistake. That was just basically a declaration of the potential where this club isn't going. And basically, it was a mistake signing.
Do you almost feel like he wasn't given... I mean, look, I know some will say, one second, he was given the money to sign Dominic Solanke and others as well. But if he is signing someone like a Timo Werner and getting him on the cheap, do you almost feel like he's not been backed by the club with what he wants? Like, Timo Werner is never his first choice, second, third or fourth choice, I don't even think. Do you almost feel like he's not been given the right backing, as most Tottenham managers aren't given the right backing?
Well, this is an interesting fact. Ange said in the summer quite clearly that he was happy with the players he signed. Now he's saying that the team isn't what he thought it was, and they're not to scratch to what he needs to do for the entire rest of the season. So there's a contradiction in terms here. And it goes back to what I've said to your channel when I've called in. And it's coming down to various things. It starts from the top, from the board, from the owner, and the transfer signings that we're making. We're not disputing that the signings we're making, we're spending, but the quality is also exceeded by the quantity of signings. Like signings of Richarlison.
Adam, we're going to have to try and get you back, Adam. The phone line's cutting out a bit there towards the end.
He's right.
He's right, isn't he? What, right about wanting him out? Or
I think he was right and you were wrong.
Now, what was I wrong about?
You were wrong because you tried to position it that maybe he was saying something along the lines of, like, Adam said that he wasn't happy with the signings, and you basically said, but Timo Werner wouldn't have been his first choice anyway.
I said
and
that before we said that. No.
You're just doing Postecoglou a favour for no reason.
I said, would Ange have signed Postecoglou? Like, there's no way Timo Werner was his first choice.
Signed him on loan and then made it permanent.
No, wasn't given the backing.
Addy, if it was working for Timo Werner, if Timo Werner scored 25 goals last season, you wouldn't be going, well, Postecoglou didn't want him anyway.
Fair. All right, Ali, Spurs fan. Ali, your thoughts on Postecoglou? Obviously, a bad result against Rangers, horrific result against Chelsea. Where are you on your Spurs manager? Ali?
Hello, mate. Oh, hello there.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, no, it was refreshing when he first came in. I loved him. You know, he was like 6 up front, 2 at the back, great to watch. The great entertainers of the games. That's what we do, mate. And then I thought I'd get a trip to Australia. But after that, it's so stubborn. I thought, honestly, please, like, you got to change your tactics. You can't you got to adapt to what team you're playing. You know, we're not like we've got the greatest team in the world, but you know, we've got some great players there. And I just think, what are you doing, mate? You know, it's what we do, mate. You know, like, let's just hoof it up front and run back as quick as you can and get the goal, mate. Like, come on, mate. You know what I mean?
Everyone's had enough of it. What do you make of your two players? Like, and I mean your superstar players. I'm talking about Son and Maddison. Son's completely gone off the boil. Maddison's just fell off as well.
Yeah, he was great. Like, I remember ringing up saying, he's got to play for England and he can do something. But no, he just fits in the start. The Son, I don't know what's happened to him, but I think you've got to have the right manager and to like bring out the best in these players, and he's just not doing it. You know,
what do you think should happen, Adam? If it goes wrong, obviously you've got a fixture that you have to win this weekend. Anything other than 3 points this weekend, I think, it will be curtains. If you end up not winning this game, or even if you do, what do you think should happen with regard to Postecoglou?
He's just got to change. He's got to change. He's got to adapt the team to play whatever teams he's playing against, isn't he? Really, you know, that's the thing. He's not doing it. He's just going, that's what we do, mate. He's so stubborn. It's such a shame because I really did like him when he first came to manage Tottenham. I thought this is refreshing, but after that now, it's just you know, I find him very rude and rash and that to the journalists and stuff like that. And you think, do you know, it was refreshing in the beginning. I think it's sort of grating on me, and it's sad to say, but like I think he's got to go. If we lose,
who do you want? If it ends up happening that Ange Postecoglou has to leave mid-season, have you got your eye on anyone else?
Oh no, but who do you get? Southgate? Who is there?
Oh mate,
you know what I mean? I forgot Southgate hadn't been mentioned for ages, but we don't want him.
To be fair, Spurs are a big club who will attract a big manager. You've had big managers in the past, in Mourinho and Conte, so I mean there won't be short of offers. All right, let's get Adam back. Adam, whose phone line went a bit fuzzy. Adam, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me, Addy?
Perfect. There you go. Perfect.
Brilliant. Yeah, I was just saying, I just quite heard afterwards with the other guest. Sorry, I forgot his name. I do know. I've seen him by face.
Rory Jennings. Hello, Rory Jennings.
Very forgettable, man. Don't worry about it.
Listen, I was just saying that the board has to take accountability, and it's been known before, and I've said it before on talkSPORT. We've got a knack for hiring and firing managers in a short of a space time. The one cop in 16 years of the 20-odd years leave his own the club. It's not good enough. Now, Ange, I like him as a person, got nothing against him, but I think he's just not tactically astute. He cannot formulate a plan B. The highline press, I think, is killing our players. Now we've got the injuries. Okay, bringing back Van der Ven and Romero last week was a mistake.
Nightmare.
And we're getting stretched. And the thing is, it is definitely quantity over quality. And that's where we're lacking. We're not buying the right buys. And I think it comes back down to Levy spending. He wants to play by the FPF rules and all that kind of thing. And it's great. I wouldn't want it any better. But we're not going to attract players that do not want to come to a club that is going to be kind of micromanaged by a chairman who interferes in the manager, where a manager should just be left alone, get the players he wants, and then leave him to do what he needs to be and coach the players. Yeah? He needs to be a good man manager where he coaches players and not just resort to a highline press that we're doing at the moment, which is a catastrophe. And that's what the problem is. Timo Werner was a mistake. I don't know why his loan was extended. And if you want to answer the question in your last caller just said, you asked a question, who should we get as a potential manager? Definitely Ange has to go. Areola has to be the next one, I think.
Yeah, good shout. Great shout.
It's a really good shout. It's very in keeping with Tottenham traditions as well, the way he plays football.
Good as well. I mean, mate, he's definitely...
And obtainable, because obviously
he's at Bournemouth.
He takes the Tottenham job.
He's at Bournemouth.
Yeah, he takes the Tottenham job.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.